Welcome to Behind the Barcode, the podcast that goes beyond the label to uncover the stories of the faces behind your favorite products. We're your hosts, Anna and Sydney.
In this podcast, we dive into the dynamic world of consumer packaged goods with a focus on better-for-you products. As entrepreneurs ourselves, we know firsthand the challenges and triumphs of bringing a product to market. That's why we're here to share the journeys of fellow innovators, industry experts, and entrepreneurs who are making waves in the CPG space.
Join us as we sit down with inspiring guests to explore the stories behind the UPC codes, uncovering the passion, perseverance, and purpose driving their businesses forward. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, a budding startup, or simply curious about the stories behind the products you love, this podcast is for you.
So grab your favorite snack and get ready to go behind the barcode. Welcome, Lauren, to Behind the Barcode podcast. We're so excited to have you. Everyone listening, Lauren is one of my really good friends. She's the creator and founder of Monty's Cheese, and it is a vegan cream cheese, and you have butter and so many amazing things. You are seriously the founder that whenever I think about you, I think of you as this amazing creator and scientist, and I can't wait for people to hear more about your story.
Thank you so much for having me. Oh, what a beautiful intro. I love and appreciate what you're doing so much too.
Thank you.
Inspire me.
Now, please tell everyone, introduce yourself, what you do, and all the tea on the vegan cream cheese and butter world, plant-based creamery.
Yeah. I am Monty. Monty's is me. Monty's comes from my last name, Montgomery. I make the cleanest plant-based dairy essentials, cashew cream cheese and plant-based butter. The cream cheese is made with literally just cashews, culture, sea salt. Butter, also very simple ingredients. I really created Monty's out of a passion for something I wanted. And I feel like that's really, it is my heart and soul. And I created it out of a need for something that I wanted. So that's kind of how it started.
I think that's the common thread with all the founders that we've had on the podcast so far and are going to have on the podcast is that no one is really doing this just for the money. Everyone is so passionate and it's literally like their soul is in the business.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I need to check myself. I'm like, I don't want to too strongly identify with like what I'm doing or gain my it's kind of establish my self-worth based on what I'm doing or accomplishing and intertwining it too much. But it really is hard not to when it is something that I am so passionate about and I've found my purpose through creating this thing that it's like, it is so intertwined and it is personal. And I take what people say about it personally. I can't help it.
Yeah. And that's okay.
So
it's beautiful.
How long did it take you to come up with your current formulation? And I know you have a background in culinary school and stuff. Sydney was telling me about it. But like, how did you even begin? Because it's such an incredible product. And I remember when I was vegan, that was the only product I was consuming because it was the cleanest one I could find on the market. And I've tried making like cashew cream cheese and stuff by myself, and it always like came out super chunky and weird. So you truly have such an incredible product.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I feel like I tried everything. When I first started, I've been dairy-free since high school, and I really kind of avoided all of the plant-based cheese and butter on the market because it was filled with crap, and I was always really driven by nutrition and eating what made me feel my best. I've always been like super sensitive and in tune with how food makes me feel. And that really is the foundation of it. I ultimately wanted to learn, how to make the best dairy-free cream cheese myself. And, I ended up going to culinary school, health supportive culinary school, Natural Gourmet Institute, and learning how to make dairy-free cheese that is fermented and made with simple ingredients. And I really just it became all-consuming. I learned everything about it. And I feel like, having that background, learning the technical skills definitely helped. And it's always a work in progress. I feel like, to answer your question, how long it took me, I'm like, it's still going. I'm still learning. I'm still perfecting. I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, over the past few months, I would say 6 months, I feel like I've dialed it. at least translated it to scale in a way that feels like, holy shit, like I can actually get this to more people with the integrity that I want, that I started with, that I started fermenting, 1 gallon batches with, which is really exciting. But it took me a long time to figure that out. Like when I first started, it was very small batch. I didn't really even know the potential of what it could be. And I operated that way for several years, really up until this last year, kind of like trying everything, working with food scientists, doing a lot of the experimenting myself. And I feel like that's been the benefit is even now I'm like talking to several food scientists.
I just saw your story.
And I'm like, people bringing up the same things that I've worked through over the past few years. And it's frustrating, but it also has given me a lot of resilience. And in terms of like, I know the parameters of the product. I know what I'm not going to do. I know what I'm not going to put in the products. I am so like, I really want the product to be fermented and made with these simple, clean ingredients. And I'm not really taking recommendations. I'm like, it's going to work. We're going to figure it out. And, I've only really wanted to ever be as big as the product allows. And that really is my guardrails, is staying within the confines of the integrity of the product and the ingredients. And that's really guided me. And I've actually found that it is possible, to grow and to get it to more people in the way that I want, and just being really clear that I'm not going to change it or make compromises. And so
I really like that, and I resonate a lot because, and I think, and Anna also does, I'm sure we talked about this on previous episodes, but really about other parties coming in and telling us you need to add stabilizers, you need to add gums, you need to add this and this flavor and that thing, and then you just have to be firm and know what your values are with the company, and learning to actually say that before you even start the conversation has been really helpful for me. As a founder, like before I get into calls, I say, well, these are my parameters. I'm not going to include XYZ ingredient. Now what can you do? And sometimes it's hard, and I don't know if you resonate with this also, because I don't wear the manufacturing hat. So sometimes I would say, this is just, for instance, a manufacturing facility, they would tell me, oh, that's not possible. And then I would say, no, I think it is possible. And I don't mean it in a place of like, oh, I know better than you. I'm obviously not doing your job. But this is a real life scenario where this actually happened to me. They said, oh, I don't think that machine will work. I don't know jack shit about machinery. Excuse my language. I don't know anything about machinery, but I knew intuitively that this machine would work, and it did. And I wasn't wearing the manufacturing hat. I don't have a food science hat on, but you kind of just, you know the parameters of the product, and you have this like trust that you'll figure it out.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I totally resonate with that. I feel like I admit I'm not a food scientist. I have a culinary background, and I've obviously been doing and making this for years. I feel like that's been my biggest asset, is like knowing and being able to do and make everything.
Yes.
And have the conviction that like, I know it can be done in this way. I've been doing it.
Yes.
But now, we have to validate it with data and all of these things.
Exactly.
It's like you have to be, like as your own health advocate with a lot of doctors. It's like you have to be your own like business advocate with like the integrity of your ingredients.
Absolutely.
Or else like people will just want to like step all over you and try and get it the cheapest they possibly can.
Yes.
And then you end up becoming like everyone else if you're listening to them, and then it just
and you become like every other brand.
Yeah. So you really like just need to tune in, listen to yourself.
Yes. Okay, so for everyone listening, Monty's, you guys have a big food service presence, as in you supply a lot of your bulk cream cheese and butter to different food establishments behind the scenes, and they use it in their menu mentions, restaurant recipes, et cetera, et cetera. One of them being Levain cookies, which incredible, by the way, the vegan gluten-free. Is it gluten-free, their Levain cookie? Yeah. And then there's so much more. And also the pop-up bagels collab that you did with your cream cheese is so awesome. And it's really cool as your friend to be on the sidelines watching this happen, like the growth of that side of the business and all those collabs. So can you tell everyone more about that and how you even chose to go that route? Because you also have a retail product as well.
Yeah. I honestly, sometimes it blows my mind, some of these opportunities. Like every day I'm like, wow, they want to use my butter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I really think that comes from me just like really sticking to what I know and making the best product possible. Like that really, like when I come back to that and I'm focused on my passion for making the highest quality product, it really just has naturally attracted the people and customers that I want to work with, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've never really like sought these out. One of my first biggest like food service customer is Sakara, a plant-based delivery service.
Yes.
And that happened kind of very organically at the beginning. And so really from the first year of my business, it was pretty heavily driven by food service because of them. And I just had a relationship with them. And I was consuming their products and they loved Monty's cashew cheese and they just started using it. And so these other ones have just come up kind of organically the same way. With Levan, they had tried my products somewhere in New York and they reached out to me and they were developing their vegan gluten-free cookie for their LA store launch last year.
For the LA store launch in particular.
And now it's at all the locations. But yeah, I feel like it comes back to the product quality and me focusing on kind of like making the best dairy-free alternatives and attracting these customers that want the best quality ingredients.
Totally. Amazing. And do you find that split is hard to manage in business? Like, is it, I guess when I, as a founder watching you do that, I'm like, I'm like, how does she do this? Like, how do you do this bulk side and the retail side? Because I've been approached about doing some things for French Squirrel on the bulk side, but it's I feel like it's a different brain almost.
Totally.
So how, like, do you enjoy?
A different business, like it's different packaging.
Yes.
It's like a whole nother.
It's a whole nother thing.
Even just a few months ago, I was like, holy shit, I have so many SKUs now. You know, I'm like doing all these different things. But I think it comes back to like my culinary background and the way that I've been producing. And at the beginning, I just said yes to everything. All right, let me figure out what packaging to put this in. You know, I was doing every different format. Obviously now I'm trying to really make everything a little bit more cohesive so I don't have so many SKUs and I'm not doing a different version for every person. So we do have kind of more uniform like food service packaging now that we're disseminating, and it's honestly making everything more streamlined. But yeah, I definitely, because I started that way, I think I'm used to it. And really the foundation of the products is the same. So it's, you know, all the logistics around like creating a new SKU, new packaging, all of that. But the foundation of the product really is the same, different packaging. And so, I've just made it work, but there's a lot of SKUs.
So cool. Speaking of packaging, can you tell us about your new packaging? Or it's kind of newish. I don't know. Did you launch it last summer?
Last year I did. Yeah,
okay.
early.
Yeah, can you tell us about like why you changed to that packaging and how that's been?
Yeah, so I originally started in glass jars. I'm sure you remember. I still have them available on my website for the diehard OG customers. And I love the glass jars too. You know, I really was focused on sustainability and the simplicity of the product and the packaging reflecting that. Ultimately, I do want to get the product to more people and more clean ingredient products more accessible. And I've learned over the past few years, and we've had lots of discussions and cries over, you know, different things. And I think ultimately what's most important to me is the ingredients and what goes in the product. And so we've made, a few changes to our packaging to really make them more like cost effective, increase the shelf life, and to get them to more people. And so the pouch packaging now for the cashew cream cheese does just that. It increases the shelf life. You don't have like the head space in the glass jar, which helps a lot. And honestly, I just love how it showcases the product and, you know, the kind of the squeezability and how fun it is to just
can I take
incorporate.
one?
Yeah, take one.
Yeah,
I need to feel it.
the videos on your TikTok are so beautiful about how you're just able to
yes, with the sunlight and you do the whole schmear. It's really cool to see this even in person, like live again and again, because I know how much hard work it took for this. So when people make when founders make these changes to packaging and whatnot, like to the regular consumer, no one knows really how much hard work went into it. But we know the same thing with Kristen, with Glow Nuts. Like we know how much hard work it takes and research to get this down. But I like what you said about, if you go back to the why and the mission of it all, it's to make it more accessible to people. And so I remember when I moved packaging from the cellophane bags and the other packaging for the berets. People are like, oh, well, isn't that more material and blah, 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 blah. And yes, but if the goal is to get better real food to the mass market, if that's the vehicle to do so, then so be it if you're a small business. Right. And so you can take this like on the go too in a way, and it's more convenient. And if you want to get it to more people, this is how you do it.
Totally.
Definitely. So, and I feel like what you said too, you have to prioritize the ingredients over the packaging. And like when we launched our single serve packets, we got a lot of backlash from people saying, I loved your jars. They were so much more sustainable, but they didn't see the back end side of things where we had so much waste. And with the packets, we're not experiencing any waste.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I feel like we threw away so many thousands of pounds of cream cheese because it went bad,
bad. It breaks. It was breaking all the time. So there was like way more waste than what could even make up for like the small individual packets, which I'm sure you've experienced.
And you kind of have to just pick your battles, but the most important things we've kept.
Yes. But you did keep the jars for your cake collabs.
We did.
Okay. Yeah. So can you tell us more about that and how you got started doing the collabs with, you did one with Need Love and then one with Chef Bay.
Yeah.
So how did you even start that? Even also put it into retail, which a lot of collabs don't even go into retail. But that is a really, really cool concept. And since you've launched that, I've kind of seen others follow your lead in a way. And I don't know if you've noticed that, but I was just in San Francisco and I noticed a similar concept.
The cake in a jar?
Yes.
Yeah.
So please tell us more about that. I'm saying you're a trendsetter. Is what I mean.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like ultimately my goal is I want to create these foundational products that we eat every day, like cheese and butter. And I really feel like Monty's is very focused on those. I, don't want to have a lot of different products or cheeses, but I do love showcasing how these products are used. And I was really excited to kind of showcase the cream cheese as a dessert. I feel like originally the idea came from, I was kind of developing the maple cream cheese frosting that we just launched a few months ago. Yep. And so that actually came first. And I'm like, I want to develop something to showcase the maple cream cheese frosting, which is like the first of its kind, refined sugar free, preservative free, all the things, on the market. Yeah. And I thought it would be a fun way to showcase it. And I love working with my friends, but Need Love is one of my good friends. She's an amazing gluten-free baker. We love coming up with fun things together.
I always see you guys together. It's really cute.
Yeah. So I thought that was a fun way to showcase the cream cheese and with her cinnamon roll in a jar. And then we did the carrot cake with Chef Bay.
Amazing.
Yeah. Originally I was just thinking we were going to do limited edition online, and a lot of people were asking for it in stores. And I feel like it's honestly just kind of fun to experiment in different avenues too, right? Like there's so many things that do work and don't work, and you just kind of like need to try.
Do you make the cakes now? Like, are you making the carrot cake?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think also that kind of feeds into my like larger zoom out goal of like,
I've been interested in like, are you doing that now? That's so cool.
Yeah. No, I think that's really exciting to me as somebody kind of like separate from Monty's, just like developing clean ingredient products at scale.
Yeah.
And figuring out problem solving, how to make all these different things, and be kind of the go-to person that manufactures clean ingredient products for other categories and people and other brands. So I feel like this kind of was a fun test for me to figure out how to scale cakes. And I'm like, I'm not an expert at that. Like I am like fermentation cheese nerd through and through, but it was a fun kind of like exercise to go through. So yeah, essentially I'm in effort to streamline, and I am, producing the cakes now at our manufacturer and doing all the composition, and that's,
That's really cool. Do you realize it's like a whole nother...
It's a whole nother
thing. Another thing that you're doing that I'm just like, how is she doing this too?
I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know.
I wondered the same thing when I tried it and I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Is she also making the cake?
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Truly. I've noticed too, you've been showing up on social media so much more, and it's so incredibly inspiring. And I feel like I really know the brand on a whole nother level because of that.
Thank you.
So how has that changed your business? And
I have some amazing coaches and mentors, Rebecca.
Shout out.
And also
Shout
just
out,
so
Rebecca.
Inspired by how you guys show up too. And I feel like for several years I was just like in it, like making the cheese. What I'm most passionate about is like the production side and being in the kitchen. And I think sometimes I'm so close to it that I forget like how much I'm doing. And like really you kind of have to share and like step outside yourself. And I think I've realized that it really in effort to make the impact that I want and to reach the people that I want and get my products out there, I need to show up in that way. And I feel like it's also a really good challenge for me as like an introvert and somebody that like kind of likes being behind the scenes.
We've talked about this, and I know. So for everyone listening, I want to use you as an example because I've had so many conversations with founders who say, well, I'm like too nervous, too shy to be in front of the camera. I don't want to. Do I have to? And then I've kind of been like, the hard truth is like, yes, you kind of have to show up online today. If you have a food business today, a CPG brand, you have to show up online on social media. And it's hard. It's not easy. And I'm saying you are the perfect example because you're saying, yes, I am an introvert and I'm still doing it. Sorry to cut you off. I just had to say that.
There's so many things like that, though, that I feel like my business is helping me grow as a person.
Oh, I love that.
I really feel like when I think about 5 years ago before I started, I saw this amazing coach and I was like, getting in my own way. I didn't want to start. I had all these fears around, am I good enough? Can I do this thing? Like, is this a viable business? And, I really feel like there's so much I have overcome that's just kind of like another thing that's been a challenge for me that I'm like, all right, I need to do that in order to get to the next level and really share the energy that I want with the world.
Yes. And that goes back to, your mission again of sharing it with more people. You have to share it. I love the phrase spiritual assignment. And I think that for me, French Squirrel is my spiritual assignment, at least for this segment of my life. And it helps me grow too. So I really do resonate with that. Because like when faced with challenge, it's like, okay, how do I react to this?
Yeah.
It's
agree
crazy.
With that. Yeah. I love that you said that. It like gave me chills. Yes. Spiritual assignment. I feel that way so very much. I really am like, this is my purpose. And I like sometimes I'm like, I don't try that hard and I just am like sitting back and I'm like, things are just coming to me because I'm like, this is what I'm meant to do. Like it really feels like this is what I'm meant to do. And just things are happening so naturally when I feel like most aligned.
It is what you're meant to do. I know that for sure.
I really feel it through, like when I watch your stories and stuff, I love seeing the production when you're so happy and so excited about production. It's just it's so cool.
Yeah. And a lot of people just start a business to start a business. But as Anna said, you can feel like your love through it and that you're so passionate about the fermentation process. And I love that you call yourself a nerd. I feel like I'm a nerd and I can talk about Bejeweled dates for 5 years. Like, totally. It's really awesome. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
And what I was also going to say is that I know we tried, remember we did that like whole day where we were recording content. And I think back to that because I don't think we ever posted it. We did a live video for everyone listening in my apartment where we just did a Q&A. Like everyone was asking, we were asking people if they had questions for us?
Yeah,
Something like that?
any kind of like challenges that we faced as business owners. Yeah.
And we never ended up posting the actual videos we did. But that's because it was really, I feel like, a practice or a test. Totally. Like we were starting to get comfortable. We were showing the packaging, and then you were starting to get comfortable. The tripod. Okay, let's start record. Like it's not always natural, but now I'm like watching you online, and it seems so natural. Like it's just you're just doing it.
Yeah. No, it definitely
it's really cool.
It definitely takes a lot of time to like, get out of your own way and practice, really.
Yes.
I think that's a great point, is like we didn't need to post it. It didn't need to be shared, It was just like an exercise for us. And I feel like that's a lot of what the work is too. Like so much behind the scenes, just getting out of your own way. And like that really is the most important work.
Yes.
It's a muscle and you just have to start it and do it without really thinking about it sometimes.
Yes. And bonus question, because I'm just curious also, and I've never asked you this. I don't know why. What is your best-selling product? Why? And then more of like the business side behind it. Like which one of all the products that you have, because you have so many, like which one makes the most sense for the business and you see yourself propelling with? Because you have the cream cheese, the butter, the cakes, then you also have the food service side. Like I'm so curious. What
There's
does
so
the
many
best
things.
to
I guess what I would
sell?
tell a buyer is we've had on the market the original cloud butter the longest, because a couple years ago we couldn't figure out how to scale the fermentation. And so really like people have come to love the original butter that is not fermented. And honestly, I feel like that's the product I'm least passionate about, which is funny.
Okay.
But now I feel like the cultured butter that I developed specifically for Levon Bakery for their cookie is probably what I'm most excited about. And the original cream cheese. They really just showcase the beauty of the fermentation. And I really feel like it's just literally just cashews, cultured sea salt.
Ferment cashews.
So
you add
a specific, probiotic or culture, very similar to a dairy fermentation.
Okay.
And really that's where you get the same flavor profile. And typically, other competitors would use natural flavors or additives to get that. But we really, take the hard route of going through fermentation and creating that flavor without adding any additional ingredients. So I feel like those kind of original products showcase just like the simplicity. Obviously the flavors do really well, but I would say the original cream cheese and the cultured butter will probably be the biggest products. And they also are both sold for food service too. So.
Okay. Well, the original's my favorite because I don't like onions. Every time I've told Lauren, well, you don't like the scallion.
I don't like onions.
Oh my god!
That's
why I know, but
favorite.
I'm an anomaly. So are you, because scallion cream cheese is literally the most popular flavor. Like everyone freaks out when scallion cream cheese drops anywhere, or like they put it on the menu.
What is your dream cream cheese flavor?
You know me so well because
Stop.
I was visualizing something, you guys, as you were talking, and you just asked me right now. Do you know what I was visualizing?
What?
Specifically this coming out, the cream cheese. I was visualizing a peanut butter and jelly cream cheese swirl.
I felt it.
Wow.
No, and I've brought up peanut butter cream cheese to someone and they thought I was a little nutty, but it would be insane. And then swirls of jam in it, and you know how they have those peanut butter jelly swirl jars where there are two in one, but with the cream cheese. French girl Monty's collab.
We need to try it. I don't know if
I don't know.
I'm convinced. Are you?
Have you had peanut butter cream cheese?
I gotta try it too.
No.
It's so delicious.
I don't think I've ever had it either.
I made it
You
myself.
made it yourself? Oh, okay.
I mixed your cream cheese with like my peanut butter. I mean, whatever it was at the time. And with bananas on top, it's fantastic on a toast.
With the jelly?
Yes.
Wow, the R&D has already began.
Yeah. No, I've just done that. I just do that myself.
Next flavor.
Yeah.
I am working on a pancake in a jar next. I brought you a sample to try.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's next step.
We're all
pancake in a jar.
Okay, hold on. Fine, we'll talk then, because I love cream cheese. You know that though.
Yeah, there's so much you can do.
Wait, what's your bestseller?
My bestseller is the gummies now.
Okay, I don't know why I've never asked you this.
We'll retail the packets.
Okay, that's what
online
I'm
the gummies.
Okay, it's different for
Yeah.
Retail Bizou, online the peanut butter dates, and now the peanut butter in the jar has become my second bestseller on my website over the Bizou.
So people are going online for peanut butter.
Correct. I don't know, jars heavier maybe, or people order peanut butter online.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Because I feel like this is the Bizou are more of like a grab and go item, like cereal clusters. But I never in a million years, I mean, I know I launched the new peanut butter. I never thought that it would surpass cereal sales online. I never thought that. I was like, no way.
First of its kind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's incredible. Like, you know, if you think about like, really the simplest things are the best things.
Yes. Okay, fine. You know, I'll convince you on the peanut butter. Cheese. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
What's been like some of your biggest challenges so far in the business? Because you guys mentioned making a video talking about challenges. I'm curious.
I would say scaling the fermentation for sure.
I mean, how do you even scale that? Do you just got like big?
They're just like big fermentation vats now. Before I was fermenting in like 1 gallon glass jars. Yeah. No, I mean, it took a lot of like experimenting to get there because it really is like a very simple process. And
I love your packaging. I love the design.
Thank you. I mean,
sorry, I didn't mean to take it away. I got distracted.
No.
But sorry, continue. The challenges.
Yeah, I would say that that first and foremost. Like if I was to give anybody advice, I feel like a couple years ago we like thought we figured it out and then started getting into more stores and then ran into production and shelf life issues. And so really the opportunities are there. You know, if you want to scale, it's not everyone's goal, but I would focus on making sure the product is pressure tested and you have production in a good place and the product is consistent, and really then, you know, the world is your oyster. But I would focus on that.
And what can listeners expect from you on the horizon? Like what's coming, or what are you excited about?
Monty's everywhere.
Yeah, Monty's everywhere. No, but like what's the future? Where do you see this?
Honestly, I was just in the UK and I like saw, I always say this to you, but I like saw, you know, I see Philadelphia everywhere, cream cheese. And I'm like, I really want to be, I want to be everywhere. I want Monty's to be the dairy-free cream cheese, go-to cream cheese and butter.
I literally cannot eat Philadelphia anymore. I can't.
I don't know that that's like the best comparison, but it's ubiquitous.
But it's everywhere.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
And every store.
I think it's just a fun challenge though, because it actually is like, it really is hard to get to that point. And I think like it excites me more than anything just to be able to make it more accessible, connect with more people, touch more people with really good, high quality food. Ultimately, that's my goal. Like you were saying, I'm not very driven, you know, by money or kind of that side of it, but I do think it's kind of a fun challenge to figure out how to get it into more hands.
You showed me a video, Anna, of opening up a cashew nut.
Yes. So I was in St. Lucia, actually, and our driver, he brought us some cashews, and they were all like black and like kind of ashy, and we had to crack them open. I think I was using a hammer or something.
I've never seen
it was
anything
really
like this
challenging to open up one cashew nut, and they had just been roasted too, and they were so incredible tasting. But some of them, like when I was trying to crack them open, it would actually break the nut itself, so I couldn't even eat it. And it was really challenging to open up a single nut. And I was like, wow, and people are just like consuming bags of cashews, you know, so many handfuls at once, when really in reality it's like difficult.
I feel like that's the case with any nut, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like people are so disconnected from their food. I've gone nut farming specifically for hazelnut and almonds. I haven't done cashew farming. I've seen the cashew in the pod, and it's very similar in the fact that nut processing is very laborious, and people are so disconnected because they get it it's like finished result.
Right.
And
you see 100 of them in a bag.
Totally.
I never had thought that. It blew my mind when she sent me this video.
It really makes you appreciate
it.
Yeah. People are sitting around like roasting them and cracking them open all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate it. Just like, you know, when you're shelling a bag of peanuts, right? It's like
Yeah.
so much more like satisfying because you're like,
Totally.
wow, I did all this work. But that's it on like a massive scale.
Yes. Anyway, so where can everyone find you and
Yeah.
follow along? And if you want to also share, we cut you off. You said you want to be everywhere, but if there's anything else anyone can look forward to seeing, I feel like you're very good about updating everyone on retailers that you're sold at. It's really inspiring, and got to be more on it. Like you're always on the launches, but go ahead.
Yeah. You can find us at livemonties.com, Instagram, Monty's NYC. And lots more stores coming soon. We're in Erewhon with all of our products and Cake in a Jars. Really working between saturating New York and LA markets first. We started in New York, now we're in LA. So a good presence in both. We just got into Citarella in New York. It was like our first biggest New York retailer, several other like small boutique retailers there. And then we just got into Bristol Farms and Creation in LA and launching in Gelson's in a couple months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Thank you.
Yay.
Super exciting.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you for tuning in to Behind the Barcode. We hope you enjoyed diving into the stories behind the products that fill your shelves. If you enjoyed listening, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on your favorite listening platform.
Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and sneak peeks of upcoming episodes. You can find everything linked in the show notes. And if you have a story to share or know someone who does, we'd love to hear from you.
Keep innovating, inspiring, and being curious about the stories behind the barcode. See you on the next episode.